Good morning. It's Tuesday morning, September 1st, or November 1st. You're in Cypress, Texas, and everywhere else. So I get it this morning, and so today's new chapters of Genesis and Psalms and Proverbs. Well, it's Genesis, Psalms, and Matthew, right? So I'm in Matthew 5. All right, so this is the Beatitudes. And so when I was going through Celebrate Recovery, how long did I do that? A couple years, right? Until COVID. How about that? And then, but you read the Beatitudes like every week. And so today in the mitzvah, we're actually breaking down what blessed means. So there's been a lot of breakthroughs today. So I have my sword. So my sword shows the Hebrew translation, the symbols of the modern Hebrew. So it's cursive, like they call it, right? Well, then, but with that, I can find the ancient Hebrew, the actual pictorial symbols. Okay, but in the New Testament, it's Greek. So I'm like, oh, I can find blessed in Genesis and see what the symbols are, and then translate that to the ancient Hebrew symbols. Okay, so now when you break down the symbols, and I forget the symbols' names, but it's the first symbol's basically kneeling down, humbling yourself. The next one is the head. It's basically to get the understanding. And the third symbol, right, is is so you can have access to the tabernacle, or to the Holy of Holies. Okay, and it's like, oh, so that's what blessed means. Blessed means. Blessed doesn't mean. Well, I guess it does, but it leaves out the process. Blessed means having, God be with you. The Spirit be with you. Okay, but you have the Spirit with you. So then I mentioned that to the guys, and what that really means is the tribulation that you have to go through. So all the poor and the the merciful and all of them, the sad, right? They're all going through a process to be humbled, all right, to be able to get this greater understanding, so they can enter the Holy of Holies. They can actually be holy. They can be humbled. They can be open, all right, to God's understanding. If I might have understood this years ago, it would have done so much for me, right? Oh, I remember, man, I was fighting this fight. I was scared out of my mind, right? The butterflies on my stomach were as big as bats, right? And I'm like, God, Lord, I gotta I got to do something or throw up. Well, I'm thinking Rocky prayed in the movies. So I knelt in the corner and crossed myself. I wasn't even Catholic then. And somebody taught me you got to ask for forgiveness of your sins. So I asked forgiveness of my sins. And then I asked God to, I was too proud to ask forgiveness, or ask for God to give me the win because I wanted to do it. Didn't, duh! Right? And so, but I asked God to give me His strength and His courage and keep us both from harm. And I stood up, and the butterflies weren't so big anymore. I'm thinking, if God's on my side, if God is real, and He's on my side because I just asked Him to be, this whole place could be full of demons, and King Kong could be in the other corner. I'd have the advantage. Now, when I went at that guy, I went at him, and he beat me from pillar to post, and he hit hard, knocking me around the ring for a round and a half. And I got back to my corner, and in the middle of the second round, I could hear that guy sucking wind. And he, just, on their feet and then I started ripping body punches, like 6 punches in a row to his body, and that crowd went beep. They got quiet, and I turned it around. The rest of the fight was all me knocking him around. At the end of the fight, they raised his hand. And I'm feeling bad because I lost, right? But the whole way back to Pensacola, Roy Jones Sr.'s, all he's talking, everybody else won but me. But all he's talking about, Rudy shut that crowd up. Right? And something else came out of the mitzvah today. One of the other guys, he's got a background in Thai boxing. Never competed, just trained, right? And he's like a welterweight. And he's looking at, fighting against people his level, and he's talking about weight, but not level of experience, And it made me think of this guy who was a welterweight in Panama. He was an Air Force guy. Never boxed before in his life, but he used to kickbox. And so I taught him how to throw a check hook. I taught him how to, get an angle on somebody. And he fought the #1 ranked welterweight in Panama. And the first time they fought, he dropped the guy first round. And then the second time he fought, he beat the #1 ranked Panamanian. And he shouldn't even have been in the ring with that guy, but he did. And he did good the first time, and he won the second time. Well, that's all based on your belief in yourself. All right, man, belief in something. All right. So if I say, have a blessed day, what I'm telling you is that you go through some strife and tribulation so you can be humbled and open to receive the Holy Spirit, so you can enter into heaven. That's what that means. All right. Take that where it comes from.